on set. Period. cfaitharchivezz. Say bye, guys. Bye.
Hey y'all, welcome back to cfaitharchivezz, your safe place for healing, honesty, and all things hot girl. I'm your host, Shaya, and today I'm coming to you as a girl who loves deep emotional connection. Like, if we're not connecting soul to soul, what are we even doing? So before I get started with this episode, I want to say thank you guys so much for watching. If you are tuning in, if this is your first time watching an episode of my podcast, I'm going to be making a lot more videos this year, and I hope that you guys enjoy. So let's just go ahead and dive into today's topic. Let's talk about the reality. The reality is not everybody wants to go there with you, and some people can. And that's why we're talking about avoidant attachment styles today. What it is, how it shows up in dating, and how knowing about it can literally save you from wasting your time on emotionally unavailable people. Alright guys, so if you guys see me looking down at my iPad, I do have some notes that I wrote because I did some research on this topic before I brought it to you guys for video. So let's just go ahead and get started. So, why every talking stage feels like a situationship? So let me tell you guys about this guy that I used to talk to, and on paper, he checked all the boxes. We had a great relationship, good convo and all that. But no matter what, to me, it felt like emotionally something wasn't there. And I could feel it in my spirit that he was holding something back. And I tried to ask deeper questions, get to know the real him, but it was like he had a wall up and he dodged anything vulnerable. Anytime I asked about his past or things he'd been through, he shut down. And he told me he doesn't like talking about the past and brush it off, like it was nothing. And that's so frustrating when, for me, that's how I connect with somebody. If you tell me and we talk about things that meant so much to you, things that you have trauma from, and it's not like I was just pushing it out, like begging this person to ask me, but it was no emotional connection on no level. And I feel like that's where it was a problem for me. And I'm just sitting here thinking, how are we supposed to grow if you won't let me see you? You won't let me see the real you. And that's when I realized he had an avoidant attachment style. And he wasn't just being chill. He was being emotionally closed off. If you're a girl like me who cares and craves real intimate connections, that kind of energy will just drain you because you're constantly feeling for that emotional connection with your partner and they're not able to return that for you. But either way, you'll keep pouring into something that doesn't even have the space to receive it. So one thing I learned that if a man makes you feel like your emotional needs are too much or acts like he doesn't need anyone, run. That's not independence. That's unhealed avoidance. And I feel like I can compare this to a lot of the shows that we watch today, like Love Island. Amaya is a lot of us girls, very emotional. She's very crybaby. Most men are not prepared for that type of an emotional stability. They don't have that type of emotional complex. They don't know how to be with a girl and how to calm her down and how to emotionally connect with her on that level. So you have to watch out for things like that. What even is an avoidant attachment? So let's break it down real quick, because once I learned this, it changed how I dated completely. An avoidant attachment comes from people growing up in environments where they can rely on others emotionally. So they learned to depend on only themselves, and love wasn't safe. So vulnerability felt like weakness. And even when they want connection, it makes them uncomfortable. So in relationships, avoidant people, they pull away when things get really serious. They say they're not ready for a relationship, but they want relationship benefits. And then they struggle to talk about emotions or their past. Acting annoyed or shutting down when it comes to emotional conversations. Just keeping people at arm's length to avoid feeling too close to them. They confuse love with control, I feel, and independence with isolation. That's how I feel it is for most people based off my research. So this is the hard truth. Someone with an avoidant attachment style isn't going to magically wake up and become emotionally available for you. And that is why you have to leave. And you can't love them hard enough to change that. That's inner work that they have to choose to do. And that is why it's so important for people to know what an avoidant attachment style is and how to see it in your relationships. How to spot it early before you fall too deep. So here's what I wish I knew earlier. You could absolutely see the signs of an avoidant attachment in the first few weeks of getting to know someone. I mean, if you're paying attention. So my first red flag I have down here is they avoid deep conversations and change the subject when things get emotional. Obviously, they act super independent to the point where they make you feel unnecessary. And I feel like this is a big one because men or women or even just anybody saying, I don't need a man, I don't need a woman. I don't know anybody's spiritual beliefs, but God made woman as a codependent for man. So someone saying that they don't need you and they're just not making you feel like you're wanted in a relationship space because emotionally they just can't give you that, it's not a good idea. They give you mixed signals. One day they're present and the next day they're distant. And I feel like this was a big thing for me, like finding like little glimpses of like positive things. I'm like, oh, they're finally emotionally connecting. And then we get there and they're not really emotionally connecting. So that's kind of hard. They say things like, I'm not good at relationships or I'm not used to people caring about me. This is a main one, I think. I've heard that I'm not good at relationships, but I'm not used to people caring about me. That one I haven't really heard. Especially, I'm pretty sure with men, it's a little bit harder to get them to open up emotionally wise, but I have definitely heard I'm not good at relationships. A lot of men aren't good at relationships. They haven't taken a lot of women seriously to understand how to have one. They get overwhelmed when you ask for clarity or consistency. And this is my biggest one, them getting avoidant when it comes to clarity and consistency, because it's like, that can seem very dismissive to you as a person and your emotions because you're constantly waiting and hoping that they'll get better because you're effectively communicating, but it's just overwhelming for them because they have an avoidant attachment. They don't want to attach to you. They avoid attachment. Avoidant attachment. But here's the trap. Because they're not toxic in the loud and obvious way, I mean, you end up just justifying it. And then you think like, maybe I'm too much or maybe they need time. But the time doesn't fix the avoidance. Like intentional healing, it does that. Intentional healing. So I definitely feel like if you feel like this is you or your partner, definitely, I would not say leave them, but understand what that comes with and help them heal, get them therapy, work to making them feel safe and be loved. So the takeaway. So dating in your 20s is wild enough. I feel like don't waste your softness on people who just treat you like an emotional burden. I mean, if a man acts like he doesn't need love, connection, or vulnerability, that's not strength. That's disconnection. And that's him like protecting himself from something he's not ready to face. And you don't have to sit in that with him. And then there are people who will meet you emotionally and who will let you in and, you know, who want to build something that's real and safe and mutual. But you won't find them if you're stuck proving your worth to someone who won't even meet you halfway. And it's so sad because the relationship outside of the emotional part of the relationship could be so good, but you have to take that step back and normalize walking away. Not when it gets hard, but when it's clear someone isn't willing to show up. All right, guys, that's today's episode. If you've been dealing with someone with avoidant attachment issues, comment down below. Or if you know or you have a friend who might have been dealing with someone who has avoidant attachment issues, I definitely hope that you send this to them. I hope this unlocked a few things for you if you didn't know what avoidant attachment was. And I really wanted to do a video on it because I had to do my own research and really just talk about it. And I feel like it's a great topic to do a video on. And if you're listening to this thinking like, wow, I might be the avoidant one, you know, it's okay. The awareness is the first step to healing and going to therapy and doing the work and just being honest with yourself. But for my girls out there who are givers, lovers, deep fillers, just protect your peace. You're not asking for too much. You're just asking the wrong person. I love y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you follow my Instagram at cfaitharchivezz and follow my TikTok at shio.faith_. for more in-depth videos and shorts, podcast related. Until next time, stay soft, stay smart.